Superman Prime 1 million is the much more evolved and more powerful version of our well-loved Superman, who leaves the Earth, riddled with sorrow of losing his loved ones to hibernate in the core of the sun and absorb its energy. Kal-El, Clark Kent, whatever we may choose to call him, is probably the most popular DC superhero among others like Batman, Wonder Woman, or Aquaman, and yet his more evolved version remains veiled under the mystery of possibilities. While most of the narratives revolve around the past life of Superman, in this segment, we'll discuss the origins of Superman Prime 1 million, his powers, weaknesses, and the extent of his powers within and outside the DC universe. So, let's dive in. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Who is Kal-El? Superman Prime 1 million. What is Kal-El's early life like? Kal-El, or Superman Prime 1 million, is the immortal and more evolved version of Superman in the 853rd century, born on the planet of Krypton. Kal-El was the sole survivor of a cataclysm that devoured his planet, following which he was sent to Earth, where he was raised as a farmer's son by Jonathan and Martha Kent in the secluded countryside of Smallville, Kansas. While he did inherit his Superman abilities from his biological parents, Jor-El and Lara, as a Kryptonian, he became one of the noblest superheroes on Earth, all thanks to the way he was raised with utmost love and care by his adoptive parents. The care of the Kents helped Clark Kent, the alias of Kal-El, develop an extremely strong moral compass, which aided him in becoming the most powerful and loved superhero, Superman. In order to hide his identity as Superman from the rest of the world, which Kal-El believed was necessary to serve his community seamlessly, he took the role of a journalist for the Metropolis Daily Planet, where he worked alongside Lois Lane, his future lover and wife. He also believed that it was important that his identity stay hidden so that his family could remain protected and safe, and thus, in order to prevent exposing his identity as Superman, he wore glasses as Clark Kent and wore a costume as Superman. As Superman, he protected the humans on Earth from various external and outer space threats, villains, and even natural disasters. In order to tackle bigger threats to Earth, he also teamed up with other DC superheroes like Batman and Wonder Woman to form the Justice League. He guided the team as their mentor, making sure that the Justice League didn't lose their moral high ground or resort to unethical means to achieve their goal. Why did Superman Prime leave Earth? As one of the most powerful Kryptonians, Superman was immortal, and his only weakness was kryptonite, a green crystal originating from his home planet, Krypton. During his early life on Earth, he was surrounded by his loved ones, including his adoptive parents and Lois Lane, whom he married. However, even though Superman was immortal, unfortunately, his family and friends were not. Needless to say, he had to outlive all his loved ones and witness their deaths. The death of Lois, his wife, especially hit him hard, and he eventually felt detached from the world. During this time, he focused his energy on passing on his legacy to a new generation of superheroes and formed the Superman dynasty. He passed on the responsibility to Superman Secundus, his heir, and thereafter, the descendants of each heir were left to protect the Earth, making sure that his moral ideals and values were in safe hands. After passing on the legacy of Superman to his successor, he felt that he was no longer needed on Earth, and therefore, he left Earth to set out on a journey through the cosmos. What happened during his exile? After leaving Earth, Kal-El decided to move on and spent his life in exile for around 15,000 years, starting from the 21st century and lasting until about the turn of the 700th century. During this time, he spent the better part of his exile in the heart of Earth's supersun, where he underwent extensive spiritual and physical transformation. During his time in the sun, Solaris, a nemesis of Superman seeking revenge, conspired to kill Superman and fired the night fragment toward the sun. However, Green Lantern saved the day by retrieving a DNA sample from the core of Solaris and starting a supernova reaction with its help. An explosion followed, which was then fortunately contained by Green Lantern and Kal Kent, a distant descendant of Kal-El. With the help of Green Lantern's ring, this caused Kal-El to emerge out of the core of the sun after 15,000 years of exile and make Solaris meet his end. The energy of the sun that he absorbed during all these years not only magnified his powers, to a great extent, but also enlightened him. This helped him take his powers to the near-divine level with unparalleled strength, heightened perception of time and space, and invulnerability. he became omnipotent, to such an extent that the universe could only be thankful that he retained his ethics, morals, and values, and used his powers only for good. Otherwise, it could have been a devastating state of affairs for all life form. Absorbing the vast amount of solar energy also helped him gain cosmic awareness, which he used to gain insights into the connections between life and death, and utilized this knowledge to safeguard all life form. It was even revealed that his knowledge was so profound that he was already aware of Solaris' attempt on his life, and was waiting patiently for him to attack. He also used the attack to his advantage to resurrect the love of his life, Lois Lane, and once reunited with the now Silver, Lois, he felt complete again after almost an eternity of solitude. The new Golden Superman Prime emerged more powerful than ever. What are his core Kryptonian powers? Even before being supercharged by the sun and re-emerging as the Superman Prime, his core Kryptonian powers made him nothing short of invincible. He was practically immortal and not known to age since the 21st century, with kryptonite being his only vulnerability. Since he was a Kryptonian, most of his powers were sourced from the sun. Due to his Kryptonian physiology, he was able to absorb powers from a yellow or blue sun, so the Earth sun became his source of power. Like all other Kryptonians, he had heat vision, which helped him shoot powerful light beams from his eyes that could finish his enemies in seconds. He also had enhanced vision and super hearing, which enabled him to process the entire electromagnetic spectrum and hear anything at any pitch or volume that average human beings would not be able to hear. His visions were not just limited to processing the electromagnetic spectrum, but also gave him the ability to see things from a great distance and through every opaque form or matter. His X-ray vision was so precise that he could focus it to peel back the layers of an object. This power of vision even extended to being able to see microscopic things down to the atomic level. Needless to say, he had no problems navigating through the dark. He also has the ability to fly, which is not just limited to the Earth's atmosphere, but also defies gravity and helps him move superhuman strength, and helps him move anywhere through the universe. He also has superhuman strength, stamina, speed, and agility. He could easily move a mountaintop at will, or catch a bullet midair, and travel to any distance in the blink of an eye. He can also create hurricanes by powerfully exhaling through his lungs and using his breath to freeze things. He's also immune to diseases that would normally affect humans, and is able to resist exposure to toxic rays. How did Solar Supercharge elevate him? His exile of 15,000 years on the Earth's sun expanded his powers to a great extent and made him the new and evolved Golden Superman Prime 1 million. It gave him divine powers that made him almost omnipotent and indestructible, with great knowledge of the cosmos. When he re-emerged from the sun, he glowed golden, which gave him a godlike look and powers that could easily surpass any superhero in the DC universe. All the core powers that he possessed as a Kryptonian were amplified profoundly, and with that, he was easily able to defeat Solaris. After being charged by the sun, his cellular structure became extremely saturated, as a result of which he also became immune to kryptonite, since its radiation could no longer harm him. Previously, as Superman on Earth, he was also weakened by the red sun and could only absorb the energies of the yellow and blue sun. After being supercharged, however, he also became resistant to the radiation of the red sun. His hibernation in the sun's core thus changed him from a mere Kryptonian being with superpowers to a powerful cosmic entity. What unique abilities and weaknesses does he have? With his newfound powers after supercharging, he was also able to wield a Green Lantern ring, which is usually reserved for the Green Lantern Corps, and takes unfathomable power to wield. Kal-El, after supercharging, became even more powerful than Kal Kent, one of his successors and one of the most powerful Supermans, capable of traveling faster than light and defying the gravitational pull of the stars. Beyond the evolution of his physical abilities, he also gained profound knowledge of the cosmos and the fabric of the universe. This knowledge enabled him to anticipate upcoming events, like the attack of Solaris, and manipulate such events for his benefit. Supercharging with the sun allowed him to resurrect the dead, since he used this ability with the help of his fifth dimension counterpart, the Zixum, the Typix, and Our Man, to bring Lois Lane back to life. Superman Prime can also share a portion of his powers with his successors, which no other superhuman is known to be capable of doing. It is unfortunately unclear what Superman Prime's weaknesses are. As discussed earlier, he overcame most of his weaknesses, like kryptonite and red sun, after being supercharged. But it's highly probable that the limitations of his super hearing were never resolved. Earlier, he lacked the power to connect to the headnet, which could potentially allow him to access the transgalactic information system that unites beings of the 853rd century. Since it overloaded his super hearing, If still possessed by this limitation, that indicates that even after being supercharged, he could not access information shared by other sentient beings of his time period. Is Superman Prime 1 million truly fearless? It is quite often assumed that Superman Prime 1 million is fearless, since he does not show many fears after coming back supercharged from the sun. Our answer to whether Superman Prime was truly fearless would be no. Superman Prime 1 million could bestow some of his own powers to his descendants, as long as the successors remain loyal protectors of his beloved Earth. The knowledge of the same was possessed by Superman, even before going to the sun. So, a major reason why Superman Prime 1 million's fear was not disclosed is that it was never his story to begin with. Rather, the story was focused more on Superman as a part of the Justice League. In fact, the entire battle between Solaris and Superman Prime 1 million ensued because Solaris' attempt to attack ensued because Solaris attempted to seek revenge against Superman and not Superman Prime 1 million. So we can safely assume that not showing the fears of Superman Prime 1 million was intentional. Among his many feats, one notable feat is probably reality warping. While we didn't get to see this feat in action, when Adam was lost between two realities and accidentally found himself in Superman Prime 1 million's universe, he explicitly told Adam that things happened so fast that he could not preserve his reality in time. This indicated that under different circumstances, he could have preserved Adam's reality, thus reinstating his feat of warping reality. Who is more powerful, Kal-El or Superman Prime 1 million? In a comparison between Superman Prime 1 million and Kal-El, Superman Prime 1 million is easily more powerful. Kal-El is definitely extremely powerful. This Kryptonian hybrid could wreak havoc on Supergirl without even moving. He has the power to teleport others with him, and even has telekinetic power. He even has the power to manipulate time and is immune to kryptonite. However, all this might be nothing compared to the powers possessed by Superman Prime 1 million, since he is titled the strongest metahuman. During Kal-El's interaction with Superman, it was revealed that Superman was not as powerful as Kal-El, only because Superman refused to amp up his power to its full potential. Superman could easily become as powerful as Kal-El, and even more so if he wanted to, simply by finding a quasar and exposing himself to its energy, or even by using Kryptonian crystal technology that harnesses the power of the galaxy. Superman never aspired to attain such a level of power, as he was afraid of his own potential, which made him weaker than Kal-El. However, this is not the case for Superman Prime 1 million. After being supercharged by the sun, he reached a level where he could no longer absorb any more of the sun's energy, indicating that he indeed reached his full potential by becoming the most powerful metahuman. Superman Prime 1 million has powers gleaned from the very edge of time and space, which suggests that his powers are not limited to those of Superman's Kryptonian powers, but instead are sourced from other dimensions and beings. Kal-El did not have much advantage over base-level Superman to begin with, apart from his immunity to kryptonite, only that he achieved his full potential when Superman did not. So, it's not possible for Kal-El to have any advantage over Superman Prime 1 million. Thus, if Superman Prime 1 million were to battle Kal-El, it's safe to say that Kal-El wouldn't stand a chance. Is Superman Prime 1 million the strongest character ever? Superman Prime 1 million has been described as the most powerful metahuman, but he's far from being the most powerful character. Even discarding other powerful characters, like the one above all, from other universes like Marvel, Superman Prime 1 million still doesn't make it to the top. The most powerful being in the DC universe is the Overvoid, who is said to be the source of all things. So, nothing or no one within the DC universe can even come close to Overvoid's power. Even after supercharging with the sun, he might be close to being omnipotent, but not truly omnipotent. Even another version of Superman, Strange Visitor Superman, is considered to be more powerful than Superman Prime 1 million. However, when we compare him with other mortal characters protecting the Earth, like Batman, Wonder Woman, or even Marvel characters like Thor or Captain America, he is definitely the most powerful of them all. Marvelous verdict. Within the DC universe, Superman Prime 1 million is depicted as the ultimate evolution of Superman, though more powerful counterparts still exist. After centuries of grieving and spending time in exile, he emerged as a godlike creature to reach his absolute Kryptonian potential. Although not much is revealed about his fears in the aftermath of his evolving to Superman Prime 1 million is obscure, we can conclude that he's not just a mere superhero, but the embodiment of what Superman is and could be in every era and forever. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.